Sir,
They were the ones that's retired, was a police officer, and they did leave in good standing on their certificates.
some did, yes.
I think that, again, I think that this is a city manager issue and a chief issue.
Well, but this is not requiring just a simple card that says I'm a retired police officer. What this says is a photographic identification issued by the agency, which indicates on the card apparently that the individual has not less recently than 1 year before the date the individual is carrying the concealed firearm, been tested or otherwise found by the agency to meet the standards established by the agency for training and qualification.
Some of these have been retired a pretty good while, so they're not.
So they would qualify
They
under this card.
still have to have a yearly qualification in order to
Yes,
carry
sir.
the card.
That, I think if I'm not mistaken on any of that statute, that card is issued yearly. It has an expiration to it. It has to be, they have to qualify yearly as well. If
I
I'm
think
not
it
mistaken.
presumes that, it doesn't come out the same.
I know when I
That's
was,
the way I understood what he just read.
And another thing, we got some that's disabled, is not able to go shoot a gun. So
The
he-
card be issued, it
Discrimination.
says non-commissioned. No carry permit.
Well, this card's got, the card to get the carry permit, it's got to have all this other stuff on it, so, yeah, it doesn't have that.
No, I'm talking about the retirement card.
There's no guideline.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's no guideline if it doesn't say police and law enforcement.
I'm getting two different messages. I think I kind of shared it in the vice mayor's confusion. Is the purpose of the card is just for,
Showing they had retired from the city of Fisheries.
but it sounds like some might want it for the purpose of being able to use it.
They
to
already
carry a
got
fire.
they got their own permit.
but in the state of Tennessee, you don't even have to have a permit, right?
They already got their permit to carry their own.
Well, yeah, you're supposed
It
to.
should.
But here's the issue I've got. If we issue them this card, they've got to come back and qualify every year with that handgun.
Yes, sir. And if they don't qualify, they don't get to continue that.
But I mean, that would be silly, because the third requirement is they just go through the regular carry permit standards.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's not re-up every year, that's, I forget, I've got one in my pocket. but,
5 years.
Yeah, whatever that is.
But
So to
under-
me, that'd be a heck of a lot simpler for them to do that than it would to go through this process and come to you every year and say, give me another card.
Yes, sir.
That's all I'm asking for, what they want. They're not wanting something to carry, for JR to say they can carry a gun.
But you can't give it to them if it says police,
Without following the
without following
guidelines.
the guidelines.
Well, can you not put on that retired policeman, that's all they want on there.
Well, if it doesn't say policeman, then I'm not subject to that statute.
Just give them,
If it says just city of East Ridge retired, I'm 388116 has no bearing on that card.
They may have a bearing, but just saying,
Is the one that you've given out, is it a photographic card like this talks about? Have their picture on
the cards I had when I was on reserves, it was like a regular card on the back, says no carry permit.
it? Yeah. That complies with this section.
And it puts the statute.
Yeah.
now what are you gonna do about these people been retired for years and years, like Mr. Stewart said?
I think what's happened is over the years, maybe cards were handed out sort of gracefully, rather than
By the book.
related. And that's what we've gotten into, just to be honest.
Let me see if I can understand. Councilman Manning, I don't have a dog in the hunt either way, but you're not saying that you want the council to pass, or I should say encourage the chief to issue these cards that have all the stuff about whether they've qualified in the last year, or you just want a simple card that says, this fellow, this individual has retired from the East Ridge Police Department.
That's it, that's all they want.
That clearly doesn't qualify for a carry permit, so.
But he says the statute says you can't have police.
Have police on. You can't have police on.
If you have police and law enforcement, I'm presuming from what I've talked to other
consent.
It would draw it under the statute.
And
Because
also,
if you flick your ID open and you flip that open to another officer, and I seen it said retired police, I would automatically assume that you would have a carry permit under that guideline.
but you, made a statement before I go freeze, and I don't put you on the spot. You made a statement, so I follow up on it. You said those in good standing,
Yes, sir.
you give them.
Yes, sir. If they meet the criteria, I would not hesitate at all.
But you also told me not too long ago, there was some that you, and I misunderstood you, I do apologize, but you said there's some on there, if you would not ever give them one.
I don't know about not ever giving one, but because of internal affairs investigations and files, some of them I've reviewed and I can't give them.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
we got 16 items on the docket for tonight. We've been talking about ID cards for 20 minutes. There's a motion on the table without a second.
Well, no, but there's got to be a second before we can actually vote on it, so.
Well, we've been talking about it.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor to issue these, city ID cards for retired employees. We have a second. I hear none. Motion dies for lack of a second.
Well, I got one thing to say on it. We're saying that our police that's left here, we're ashamed of them, we don't want to give nothing saying any card for the city, we see the police department, that's what it all comes down to.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
You may not, I do.
Well, and you're entitled to your opinion.
Yes.
I'm entitled to the
You're
complete
entitled-
opposite
you're-
opinion.
you're entitled to
But that's okay.
opinion.
That's okay. We all can have different opinions.
That's what I said.
New business, item A, ordinance number 1002 on first reading.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend ordinance number 989 entitled, an ordinance to provide revenue for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee for the fiscal year July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016, appropriating the same to the payment of expenses of the municipal government by changing the revenue of the general fund, grant fund, and debt service fund, and by changing the expenditures of the general fund and grant fund. Here on first reading.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion and a second to approve. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. We've already dealt with item B. We'll skip to item C, resolution 2529.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the application for and acceptance of the American Police and Sheriff's Association equipment donation grant for tasers for the East Ridge Police Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Item D, we dealt with. Item E, resolution 2531.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the application for and acceptance of the fiscal year 2016 Building Better Communities grant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions?
Yes, is this a matching or?
No, it's 100% grant, up to $150,000. It's an invitation only, and we were invited to apply because they liked our application last year. So we are working on this year's application, and hopefully, the way that the phone interview went last week, that will get funds.
Make a motion to approve.
Well, we already have a motion and a
Oh, we
second.
do?
We do.
Okay. I second, I
Are there any questions? Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
guess. Yes.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Item F, resolution 2532.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to increase the grant match for the Camp Jordan Park local parks and recreation
motion approved.
Question. This is the grant we got 100,000, we matched 100,000. And how much more y'all want?
Well, what happened is the grant only allows for so much in the engineering part of it that the grant only covers, I think it was a little over $6,000. So we have to match that rest of it, that is like $8,000. So
100,000 more?
What's this grant money gonna be, used for?
this is what was supposed to go on at Monroe Park, and we'll be talking about that here shortly. But that is to put in restrooms, a track, a dog park, I believe 1 or 2 tennis courts, and a basketball court down in Cantor.
All right. I think did we have a motion?
Yeah, I did, and a second.
And a second, okay.
No,
We did not have a second.
Did you second?
Make a motion.
I seconded it.
Okay, so we got a motion from Mr. Sewell, second from Mr. Manning. Any other questions?
Did we voted on, didn't we vote on this a while back and got the grant right?
We did, yes.
Yeah, this is, it just is housekeeping. We want to make sure that you all are understand that we are having to do an additional funds. We didn't want to do that without council approval, because the money has to come from somewhere.
Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Manning,
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. When will this project start?
Well, we are just now finishing up getting the.
Great segue, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Into the next
We'll
item.
segue
Item G.
into that. We've just now finished getting approval, I just got it back today from the state, approving the contract with the engineer. So we will sign this contract since that's already been approved by the council. I think that was back in October. So we've just now finished that out, and then hopefully, once they get their engineering plans done and submitted to the state, then they will give us the notice to proceed, and that should be hopefully in the springtime. You know, with weather's permitting, we can get a lot done. So to segue into the next part, the LPRF grant, Mary, you had a question that you had about funds.
Right, I just wanted a timeline for when the funds had to be spent and what we're required to do.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this out to all you council. This is not just LPRF, which is the very first one, but it's all the grants that I'm currently working on now. We have 22 grants that are either currently being worked on or are in application. 16 are in current, 6 are in application at this time, which the Better Building Communities is one of them. The LPRF grant would have had some questions on, it is a 50-50 match. Just to explain so you'll understand the key on here, you'll see a grant name at the top, LPRF. The total amount of the grant is $200,000 and it's a 50-50 match, meaning that the state, the LPRF, is giving us $100,000 and the city of East Ridge puts in $100,000, which is now $108,000. I think it's 108 and some change. So we have just now gotten the contract. We didn't get the contract till June the 3rd, and it started June 15th this year. Reason why we did get the grant back in, I think, 2014, it was right before my surgery. But Monroe Park was sold, as you guys know now, the Walmart Market's at. So that was the original park. Well, we basically had to redo the application to move it down to Camp Jordan. So we had to renegotiate where everything was going to be, try to make sure everything was included that we had in the original grant. So that's why that portion of it's taken a while. Then we had to do the engineering part, then we had to approve the contract, approve doing between East Ridge and the engineer, and we had to do a correction to that. So right now, we are on track, and we have until June 14th of 2017 to spend the funds. So there, I think a couple of people were thinking that the money had to be spent by the end of the fiscal year, which would have been June of 2016. And that's not the case, it's not until June of 2017. So when you're looking at all these grants, you'll see the total amount bolded first. If it's a matching grant, it'll be 50/50, 80/20, or if it says 100%, it's 100%. The first number after that is the match for the agency, and the other number is the match for the city of East Ridge. So in total, like I said, we have 22 grants. 16 of those are being currently worked on, 6 are in the application mode, or we're waiting for approval. Total grant amount that we have in total with the 22 grants is $5,334,834.48. Of that, the agencies are paying $4,741,453.51, and the city is in a portion of $593,380.97. So we're getting almost $5 million, over $5 million worth of projects for just a little under $600,000. So that's a pretty good, tremendous amount of money we're trying to save for the citizens while upgrading sidewalks, park amenities, tasers for the police department. We have alcohol enforcement grant that we just received back in September, a distracted driving. So we have lots of grants going on, and that should give you all an idea of what we're working on. And is there any other questions on LDRF or any of the other grants?
For these ladies sitting in the outreach, I know she got the grant here for the Petco Foundation.
Yes, sir.
Should be noticed December of this year.
That's what I'm hoping for. I went on their website to try to see maybe someone I can contact to see where our application is, because it said once they receive the application, they're not going to notify every applicant because that would take them too much time. So fingers crossed, I applied for $100,000 to build a new animal shelter. So fingers crossed that we'll get that money, so that would be great. And that's 100%. That is no match for the city. And there are several 100% grants in here. Also, when we redid the multimodal, which you guys just approved of, or hopefully will approve of here at the very end, that's a 95.5. That's $1 million, $950,000 we're getting for $50,000 for sidewalks.
So we have 2 sewer line grants.
No, just one, and that's in the application. So if it's highlighted in blue, that's what application we're working on. That's the one that we've already approved, that we have no match in. They're just using us to funnel the money through because they can't.
881,000.
Correct.
I was talking about the 500. So
That's the total. That's the
Okay.
whole total. That's the 500, and then the other half that I think Helmsley County's putting into the 300,000. So that's the total amount of the grant.
Any questions? Thank you.
See you in a few, fellas. Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to item H. I ask for this to be placed on the agenda. Discussion of the 95th birthday celebration slated for May. We need to formulate a budget so that
That's correct.
Stump knows what he can do and what he can't do.
Can I say something before we get started that I didn't have a chance to say earlier? Coach Larry Fleming died today of cancer. He coached at East Ridge. His son Chip played here. And then on the second note, I just want to thank all of y'all for the Christmas bonuses. The people at the Parks and Rec staff were tickled to death that somebody cared enough about them to give them a bonus at Christmas time. So I'm very sincere about that. But back to this, I just think, you can have a little party, you can have a big party. That's up to you, that's your call. You tell me what to do, we do it. But the only thing, my concern is if you're gonna have a party, then and Councilman Rabbit said this before, and I agree wholeheartedly with him, that, if we're gonna have a big group, let's have a big group. If we're gonna have a small group, let's have a small group. It's however you folks want to do it.
My thinking on this was that, of course, you look at ways, okay, what is going to have the least impact on the budget? Last year, when the Christmas and Nights of Lights folks came forward, presented us a check, not the Needy Child Fund money, that's separate, but the check, which is a percentage, or it's based on how many cars go through and all of that. We allowed that to go back into Camp Jordan for the fencing that went up around the amphitheater area and I think a couple of other things there. My idea would be to do that, to allow whatever we get back this year to go toward the 95th birthday party. That way, it basically does not impact our budget at all, because that money's not in our budget.
What did we give us?
About 30,000, if I recall.
Oh,
32, 33.
Okay, well, had we budgeted to spend it anywhere?
No, it's actually just part of the revenue to offset expenditures for the year.
Gotcha.
But it is budgeted, they budgeted 33,000.
I did not
Do you
realize.
still have the $10,000?
It's actually 9,500 because one of your invoices came in after the 45 days of availability.
But we do have it for the,
For what was Liberty
for
Fest.
Liberty Fest, we still have 9,500 for that, which usually that gets it in fireworks.
The, last one I remember going to, I think that's when Mayor Steele was, we had birthday party down there, we cooked hamburgers and hot dogs, had a cake. We might have had 40 people show up, so we talking about spending $32,000 and you know how many will show up.
Well, I think the point is, based on how much money we allocate to this party, that will drive who we have as entertainment, and that will drive the number of people that we have. If we have a low budget, we're not gonna be able to pay for a big name, and we're gonna have 100 people show up. If we go get a big name, we had Atlanta Rhythm Section a couple of years ago. That was a huge crowd, huge crowd. I remember being up on the hill on Camp Jordan Road trying to get in the place, and it was just a sea of humanity down there. Really impressive.
You gotta add it, but after.
So, I think it's an opportunity to have a big name come in and to have a big event.
You put that for a motion,
I'll put it in the form of a motion.
When would the date be?
It's May,
May 13th now, Kim? May 13th?
13th or 14th?
13th, it's that weekend.
we avoided Mother's Day.
Let me ask you this, though, I mean, if the light show brings in $50,000, is your motion saying we're gonna spend $50,000?
We can cap it, we could cap it at, yeah. but
I mean,
$30,000 of the light show money would.
I hope you're right, Vice Mayor, but right now we're behind last year, so I just hope we get as much as we did last year.
What do you say the difference between a big party and a little party, money wise?
Well, okay, for example, some of you folks have seen this guy before, the guy that's not supposed to be able to come back to Chattanooga anymore, that plays the piano like Jerry Lee Lewis and tried to throw the grand piano off into the Tennessee River.
Jason something?
Yeah, and I've got him lined up for Saturday, or for, which, I believe you said was a lead-in. He's about a $3,500 act. But, yeah, and he's really good, but nobody's gonna show up to see him. But he will perform, and everybody will leave there happy for those who do show up. What I wanted to do is do Atlanta Rhythm, I wanted to do 38 Special and Confederate Railroad back-to-back is what I wanted to do.
Can we wait until our January meeting? That way, we kind of know what the numbers are gonna be.
Well, I think lining up the acts is gonna be
That's
difficult.
right.
We're already 5 months away. If,
Oh,
so I mean, I think that's the real issue is if we say, okay, go get us some numbers and go tentatively book these guys, and then we come back and say, okay, our budget's $3,000.
Well, we had Casey Musgrave for $5,000, and then Casey Musgrave got some award, and then when I called back, they said that she wanted was $140,000, just because of that big country music. But I think, Councilman Gravitt, I definitely believe that we can start talking to people and tell them what we're talking about, to the guy that I'm dealing with, and I think we can wait to see how much money in January. I think that is conceivable. I'm not going to get to hire anybody from now through the end of Christmas anyway, I don't think. So I think that's very conceivable.
Okay. If
That'd be
you're,
fine with
if
me.
you're okay with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
I call for a motion, though.
Okay, well, I did put a motion out there, it got a second, so,
What's the motion?
the motion is, and I will clarify the motion, to use the first $30,000 out of whatever we get back from the Christmas Nights of Lights, dedicated toward this birthday celebration. So if it ends up, so
All of
if
that
you
thirty,
get,
or all of that $30,000 is not going to strictly entertainment.
I'm sure not. Yeah.
I just want to make a point of clarification.
Oh, no,
We
no,
have to pay for it.
that's it.
Once you tell me
Yeah.
we've got a budget, then I can come back to you and say, you know, when you're dealing with these people, they say, what's your budget? And then I can come back to you and say, we've got this people for this, this, and this, and then you tell me what to do and we do it. So that makes it easier. Once we say, we're in business, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make it happen.
And what we're talking about, if we're so lucky to have over 30,000, I'd like to see that maybe allocated, let go towards this dog.
Well, here's another little slight hiccup. Is Camp Jordan Parkway going to be completed?
It's supposed to be April. Yeah.
I thought they said,
It's got to be done by, like.
I have reached out to
Maybe
Bass
it's our
Pro,
road, but it'd be-
and I'm trying to talk to one of their marketing representatives, because they too will have a party. And what I'm trying to do is find out what their timeline is to see if there's anything we can work together. And I'm working on that right now. Because it's kind of hard for me to plan what's going to happen in the park with all of a sudden they're going to throw a big party, Bass Pro. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Have any comments or questions?
Well, we don't get 30,000.
And it'll be, the way I phrased it is the first
The mayor's
30,000.
going to write a check for petitions.
So if it ends up being $20,000, all we have is $20,000 to work with.
Mr. Mayor, can we wait till next month and let Stubb give us some kind of idea between now and then? And being obligated?
I hate to say it, yeah.
We'll also have overtime issues of fire and police working down there during the light show. It wasn't budgeted.
Hey, Stump, do you feel like you need a decision tonight? Yeah.
No, sir.
From
No,
what I
sir.
heard, it sounds like you're flexible to
Yes,
wait
sir.
until next month.
Yes, sir. I'll do whatever y'all want to do. It's our party, but it's your party.
Okay.
Will they have their numbers by January 14th though?
Yes, sir. I get numbers every Sunday night.
Okay.
Every Sunday night, they update me on the numbers for the week. Right now, and we get $1 a car up till we hit 10,000 cars, and then we start getting $2 a car. We should hit 10,000 sometime between now and next Tuesday. And then that's when you start making your money.
Well, if you feel like you could wait,
Yes, sir.
then I'll be willing to withdraw my motion.
I'm going to go with that.
Okay. So we will revisit this. I would like it to be on the January 14th agenda. Item I, another thing I had placed on here. A couple of things. One, would like for us to take a look at the turn lane heading down Ringgold Road. Once you pass over the interstate, turn left to go into Camp Jordan, to go down to Camp Jordan Parkway. That is a very shallow turn lane. You can get about 5 or 6 cars in that turn lane. And June 1st or June 30th or whatever it ends up being, we're gonna have all sorts of backup issues. And we're probably gonna have it anyway, but I think it would alleviate some of the problem if we try to deepen the capacity in that turn lane, which would at this point just mean take out some grass, and obviously there's engineering involved, but we would have to work with the state probably, yes. As far as cost of the project, obviously I have no idea.
I thought maybe that might be part of the project, we work on that.
Well, if it is, that's probably a year away. So we won't have it in time for the Bass Pro opening, that's for sure. So we're gonna have, again, all sorts of people. You know, even now, back before we closed Camp Jordan Parkway for the construction, if you had a soccer tournament or whatever, you get 5 or 6 cars in that turn lane trying to turn left, and they back up into the regular lane of traffic, and you've got to back up in that lane all the way over the overpass and up by Wally's.
But I was thinking, if they're going to extend that road out the way it is, and if we do that, then you're not going to have, you're kind of going to be cutting some of that off down the road, right?
It's possible. Now, where the newly configured intersection will be is going to be pretty close to where the interstate is. It's not going to be that far down. So you could probably add 25 feet of depth to that turn lane. But, you know, I'm just throwing it out there for
We're
consideration.
talking about that at St. Thomas.
Yes, the left-hand turn off of Ringgold Road to get onto St. Thomas / Camp Jordan Parkway, that area there. You're right in front of the Motel City.
Yeah, they're supposed to make another lane across the bridge too. You know,
They're going to restripe. There's actually room to make the overpasses 3 lanes per side.
So that would probably be kind of turn lane there, really too.
It's on the back.
Yeah. So I was just thinking that would be helpful. I mean, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of cars down there, one way or the other. Anything we can do to ease the problem at all, I think would be good.
And
Again, I'm just throwing it out there.
Could save some lives too, you could have some wrecks.
Potentially.
We're talking about another $1 billion project.
No, I don't think so. I think you're probably talking $30,000, $40,000. I mean, it literally is. I mean, your engineering would probably be a few thousand. Literally taking up some grass and putting down pavement there. And there obviously some restriping. So, and again, I'm not going to pretend to know exactly how much it's going to cost, but I would think it's going to be a whole lot closer to 40,000 than it would be the 400,000. And we don't have to fully commit to the project to get some idea of what it would cost. If we just start laying the groundwork for, okay, if we move forward with this, what would it cost us? I think that would be a good idea. But again, that's just me, I'm throwing it out there for.
Well, if it would, well, okay, and I've been down there in that backup myself before. And not an easy thing when you see a guy coming flying behind you, you don't know where you're gonna stop or not, because he thinks that's a go through lane. So we need, I'd rather see us stand this turn lane, see somebody get killed.
And all it takes,
We put on a lot.
and all it takes is, if you have 4 or 5 cars in that turn lane, if you get off the exit coming north on 75, if you get off there at exit 1, there is no way you're getting from that exit ramp into that exit ramp over to that turn lane.
Okay.
I mean, there's literally not enough room to do that if you have cars already in that turn lane. So there are issues down there that ultimately will be addressed with all the work that's happening. But I think we could potentially do something to help it even before then.
Could you ask Arcadis to look at that? Give us some kind of estimate?
I think we can do it. try to figure out just what kind of project cost it would be. And if it's, you know, if it turns out it's a $150,000 project, then obviously we can say, oh, no thanks.
Start paying grass and corn,
Right,
and not thinking about this, so.
right.
I know Mr. Frank, you can't read that.
So I would like to explore that option if, you know, and I'll put it out there in the form of a motion to just see if we can get an estimate, cost estimate of what that would be.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Rabbit?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Manning?
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes. Item J, advertising for city manager position. I had, based on last month's meeting, I had asked for it to be on there. Councilmember Manning has also asked for it to be on there. I would like for us to crystallize what the qualifications are that we would like to see in addition to what is mandated by the charter.
I like it.
And let's,
I'm sorry, Mayor, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, let's go ahead and move forward with advertising the position.
And I agree with you. Start advertising by Mark, put it out. Mark will be it when we come, send applications to the city manager.
It's advertised tomorrow, then are we just gonna go by what the charter says?
That's what I think it ought to stay with the same charter. Yeah.
That is to be the minimum one.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sir.
But y'all
We
decide.
need to talk about some additionals.
What additionals would we like to see?
I like to see it left like it is, because we got in that, adding all that stuff before, we're not gonna find a city manager.
Well, that portion of the charter has now been changed, so we don't have to worry about that any longer. I think it's, 3 to 5 years of government experience, bachelor's degree.
Which shall be as follows: the minimum of a bachelor's degree, at least 3 years of direct supervisory experience in government, and such other qualifications as the council may require. Minimum of bachelor's degree, didn't say bachelor's degree in what, at least 3 years of direct supervisory experience in government. Such other qualifications as the council may require.
I would like to put in there, economic development, infrastructure experience preferred or desirable. We got a lot of both.
But you want to put that on the front end rather than just obviously focus on candidates that happen to submit their application.
I think I would.
I would too, because, and also I think, because if we don't, we're gonna get a lot of applications that gets still into file 13.
But that's not a downside.
I think we also ought to, take a look as far as the educational requirements. No offense to, liberal arts degrees, but I don't necessarily think we need to have someone that's got a bachelor's in literature or theater, either one, take a pick. And my wife is a liberal arts teacher, so at Notre Dame, so I hope I don't get in trouble when I get on. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. And I think it should be put on the front end too. Talk about economic development experience. Preferred. Not mandatory, but preferred.
In other words, what you're saying, if it don't have it, we need them, we go ahead.
They can still apply if they don't.
Right.
Okay.
We're just saying, it would be nice if you've got it.
Yes, sir. No problem with that. Can I put that for a motion if we go ahead and start looking for city manager to start tomorrow, taking applications. Those
Yeah,
are
we-
qualifications that you just read,
It's- it's-
put that for a motion.
Well, the motion needs,
We still need to talk about some of the qualifications. right?
yeah, and plus, I mean, just because you start them tomorrow, doesn't mean we're gonna be getting
That's right.
applications in tomorrow.
That's it.
We need to have a cutoff date of January pick a date, 15th, 20th, 30th, whatever.
Did we, I believe Mr. Gabbard, was it not 2 months last time we had it?
I don't
For
know.
applications, you know?
I would-
It's
I would-
about a month.
It was a month, she said.
I would like to see it go through the end of January.
January 30th.
You got the holidays that.
Right. Yeah.
That's what
So is there any other qualifications that anyone thinks
it's. About
should be included?
Maybe something in the county. Just put up a front end load. They don't have to have it.
I don't know if,
We could, I mean, I guess we could put, economic development, and/or finance, desire,
yeah.
something like that. We could use and/or, if you've got all of it, great. If you've got, if you're strong in one area or another.
Still gonna look at it and see.
Right. Anything else?
You wanna write those down so you don't forget whenever you make your motion?
Dan's got- Dan's right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was my motion, I put on the floor, go ahead and,
Well, we did
Cutoff date will be,
let Janet look at all of it, from what, there's been so many different qualifications that require. We'll put it down and we'll send it to Attorney North for approval, and then we'll send that out to everybody, if that's okay.
I think that would be fine with me.
but the only additional qualifications y'all have mentioned are economic development and finance, a preferred background in economic development and finance, right? Is that all right?
Yeah, thinking, someone who has, maybe that's not the best way to term it, but, infrastructure experience in some way, that having dealt with, infrastructure projects, because we've got so many of those coming down the pike, I guess. I don't know.
Engineering.
City planning, that's one of the terms.
It could be.
What you got.
All right, how about economic development, city planning and/or finance background or experience desired?
With the other requirements.
Right.
And show me here.
Well, economic development and or finance, you're not going to just say finance,
It's true, but at least would give us a broader range to look at. If we found someone who had a finance background, who was just, dynamite, maybe they were a little short on economic development experience, at least we would have them as an option.
I remember when we went through this gyration before, we had, as I recall, like a retired general applied, and there was some other that was otherwise qualified, eminently qualified, but obviously didn't fit under the charter requirements at that time. I hope we're as successful as soliciting people this time.
The last time we don't have the application sent to the city, or last time I looked at the city, you wouldn't have. What happened?
Either way, or I can look at it, that amount out
I think cross it up to Tony and the mayor.
That would appoint the attorney.
Well, let them physically come here, and we can get them.
that kind of experience is desired.
A motion to rescind.
But obviously, if the council at some subsequent time hired another treasurer, that would take care of a lot of the financial aspects.
I don't want to leave it.
Will you make it a guy that fills both roles?
Be nice to get somebody to fill up.
It's a good situation, let's see where we go from there.
Well, I think we need a city treasurer / border region person.
But if we get a city manager, he's got both qualifications.
Just because he's got both qualifications, doesn't mean the workload.
Right. His job is to run the, basically run the city, not finance department. He do budgets, city planning.
Are we good? I understand. We've got 2 items left, that's all, 3 items, excuse me. Are we good? Yes, yeah, we are. Are we good with this? Do we want anything else beyond this? Obviously, the charter requirement is 3 to 5 years of government management experience, minimum of a bachelor's degree, and then throw in economic development, city planning, and/or finance experience, preferred or desired.
And do we need to add in there, if they don't have that, don't they qualify?
I think just using the word preferred, you know, it's,
Salary based on experience. Salary negotiable.
that's, yeah, that's good too. Yeah.
I don't think did we mention a minimum salary last time?
I think so. Okay. Well, we have a motion to move forward. Folks keep buzzing at me, I don't know why. Maybe their batteries may be going down too, like the rest of us. We have a motion from Mr. Manning. This sounds good to you?
Yes, sir, sounds great.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do I need to restate the motion, or do we have it? Okay. To begin advertising for the city manager position using the charter qualifications that are minimum qualifications, but adding,
By tomorrow.
then I'll put a date range on it, just say, but adding economic development, city planning, and/or finance experience preferred to,
Keep saying tomorrow, I'm not gonna make you mad.
I'm gonna get my vote
Something
on
make
it.
you mad up there. Wonder who it was.
with a date range tomorrow, if possible, to get it put together, run it through the end of January.
January 3rd.
January. Right. Yeah, there'll be some.
I'll see you next week before leaving to go to the papers, I'm not correct, Janet.
And we, last time, as I recall, isn't there a newsletter or something for the city managers?
TML, all that.
Yeah,
Right,
TML, there was something else, some other.
TCMA.
Yeah.
Put it on their website.
Yeah, they get it out.
That probably would be.
But even delayed, that would give us 45 days.
Right. So, with salary dependent upon qualifications, or salary negotiable, either one.
Size negotiable.
Salary
I
negotiable.
think Mr. Graham said, wait.
Either one's fine.
All right.
What was the date?
January the 29th, I looked at my calendar, that's a Friday.
Okay. That'll work. All right. That is the motion. It has a second. What's it? Mike said that's my birthday.
We'll all celebrate together.
That's a good point. Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Item K, Mr. Manning asked for this to be on there. Selling a Volkswagen.
Yes.
How old is it? What
Is it even anything?
It's 2012, has 41,000 miles on it, and it is not a diesel.
Yeah, that's like parked there in that thing.
The reason I had this put on here, nothing against no one, period. We had this put on here, we strictly bought the Volkswagen strictly for the city manager to be the one driving. And that's why I had it put on here, for him to be his car. All right, another reason I had it put on here, more miles we get on it, when we get ready to sell it, Mayor, less we're gonna get at it. So, see, I think how many miles I had on there. 41,000, so if we either sell it now with 41,000 stuff on it, if it keeps getting on it for 141.
What you gonna do when you get city manager? You gonna walk?
No, take the money and get out of it, put it into the other car we're buying for the city man.
I was like, we just keep.
I went to my, let me say this, and Mike can back me up this if he wants to. I went and asked Mike, before I brought this up, I went and talked to Mike, and I asked him, did he want to drive the Volkswagen? That's what it's for the city manager. I said, rather have it, he'd rather have an SUV. And he said, he'd rather have his SUV, and I ain't gonna comment the rest of it. But, that's the reason I put it on, continue to go ahead and sell it, we'll get more out of it now, but I've got a little mileage on it. And that way, I'm gonna get the money, put the money back for the other city manager when he gets here, we get him a car. So if we get a lot of mileage on it, you're gonna give it away. Now put that for a motion.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any comments or questions?
Yes. If we decide to sell this thing, can we sell it to another department? Because I was talking to another supervisor, and his car is in dire need of being replaced, transmission slipping, got 200,000 miles on
Another department of the city.
it. Another department of the city.
Is he gonna take it out of his budget? Pay us? Will he take it out of his budget and pay for it?
Whatever has to be done. Have a new car.
We've got a few cars that are in the same position.
Well, the city manager's car, is it loaded up? Does it have leather and all that?
Well, the deal about this city manager's car, the last city manager we had, he didn't want it. He was going to come to us on his contract date and propose a lease deal and then park his.
Yeah, I understand, but does it have leather, is it loaded?
Oh, I don't know, I've never been in it.
No?
No, sir, it's a very basic model.
Okay. If somebody needs it.
I think the city staff's using it now for when they go run errands, this, that, the other, they went on a trip to Nashville. The only other thing they got to take, something's got 150,000 miles on it, but they don't want to drive through the tunnel. So they probably figured it won't make it on the other side. Well, I understand that's the reason.
But most of us, when we go out of town, we drive our own automobile anyhow, the city pays the money.
Could we,
Well, it's cheaper when they drive their own, when they drive cities, basically.
could we reassign this car? It sounds like there are lots of, without jumping through the hoops of selling it, and just use it for city hall, city staff purposes. And that could be code enforcement today, tomorrow, you know, somebody else the next day, that it's tied to City Hall. If we've got cars that have 200,000 miles on them,
That's what needs to be sold.
correct.
Code enforcement needs a car, full-time, they don't need to go part-time.
I think this ought to be a decision for the city manager to determine who needs that gun car. They
But
should
with
be,
the,
it should be left us.
the city council one voted to buy the car. So it's left up to us to vote.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure did.
We go buy all of them.
Yep, we voted to buy that strictly for city manager.
Well, we've got a car, we've got people who need a car.
All right, then, no, you changed my motion and you said it was, what did you say?
Code enforcement
All
needs
right,
a
then
car.
I remove my motion and change it. It's code enforcement. Just let them have full-time use for their own benefit, for the city. The restriction just belong to them. I put it for a motion that way. I took the other motion back and put it for a motion that the code enforcement.
Okay, did you withdraw your second from the previous motion?
Yes.
Okay. So, we have a new motion, which would be to give it to code enforcement.
That's in guy.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Do we have any comments or questions?
Personally, I think the city manager ought to be, one step where it goes, I mean, it should be.
As do I.
I mean, I know they know, and if he has what.
I think with the discrepancy,
Now,
maybe.
it looks like you have a question.
My understanding is, I mean, this is the city of East Ridge, it doesn't have to be dedicated to a specific department, and it's locked in there, and there's nothing you can do about it until you have another council vote or something. No, I mean, can't you, Mike, there's no problem, you moving it around wherever you see fit, is it?
Charter says I can move vehicles, move
Right.
equipment, move people, I mean, that's what it means.
I think we ought to leave it up to the city manager.
Well, all I'm saying, nothing against the city manager, but like I said, we voted for the city manager, we voted, we got it. And now I made my motion different, and it's been seconded, give the code enforcement, let them have full-time, but like he said, they don't need a part-time car, they need a full-time car.
Well,
I like call question on it, please.
well, I have been down this road before. According to Robert's rules, you can't call the question to cut off debate. However, I'm the one who has questions, and I'll forego my questions. We'll proceed to a vote.
Councilmember Griffith.
I'm just gonna make a statement. Again, I think this is a city manager issue. It's not up to us. He knows who needs a car. If he thinks Codes needs a car, let him have the car. I vote no.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell.
I'm the same, I think the city manager should delegate the car, I vote no.
Mayor Lambert.
I would have liked the opportunity to, again, ask more questions and try to find middle ground, but I will vote no.
I'll make the motion that the city manager delegate the car to whoever he needs.
That's the existing
Same thing.
thing, charter anyway, I mean, that's, I'm not sure that's necessary.
Except for those like, council.
I know, but we're not talking about selling anymore, we're talking about moving wherever it's
But
needed.
if the charter states that the city manager can do it, then there's no need for a vote. I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. Item L, purchase of mobile CAD licenses, police department. Gee, you waited a long time.
If you could, just give us the summarized
What's that?
version. And I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve and a second. That was the easiest thing I've ever had to do here.
Just a brief summary.
Yeah, I came to y'all, several weeks ago about AutoCAD. It is the most expensive, piece in the computers going into the car. I have tacked down a solid number that I told you I would bring back to you at that time. I can make a copy of what I have, or I can just read it to you.
Just read it.
For 14 units, this is not the complete fleet of the department. We're looking at $19,180 to get moving on it. Now, the reason I said 14 units, that would start our program up. We would be within the time limit for the 2016 upgrade. If you remember, I told you the 2016 year they were going to have a major upgrade. If we purchased that minimum, that would cover our supervisors that are on shift and a couple of people as far as seniority depth-wise on each shift.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Have
sir.
we budgeted this?
No, sir. That was the project as far as 14 units. If we wanted to go to 20 units, and this breaks down in the beginning at $1,370 per unit. If we went to 20 units, we'd be looking at $27,400. I wanted to give you that, but I wanted you then to keep it in your mind, look it over. It is a very important piece.
You're not asking for a decision tonight then?
No, sir, I am.
Okay.
But I would like to come back before you, maybe on the 14th, and have something prepared for you.
Can you email us that then?
I can, sir.
Can I ask you?
Okay, we had a motion to approve it in a second. Can we
I'm going to withdraw my second.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay.
Do you have any idea when we're gonna get the computers in the police cars?
As far as a physical day, no, I'm hoping that we'll have them in. We've been working on setting up the first portion of the software, the FBR, getting everybody in. We've run into a snag with the city of Chattanooga as far as getting into their server. We have to physically go into that server and set everything up, and getting those permissions from them for us to enter into their server would be like giving them permission to get in ours. We want to make sure we have everything crossed and everything right. Because if we go in there and mess something up, then we could be liable. So we want to make sure that our IT people, Captain Molinax, and everybody know that when we go in there, we do it a specific way on how it's set up. So we're not really rushing that portion of it, but we are time sensitive on it.
How long?
Physically, no. No, I'd like to say that we'd be up and running on that. I talked to Chief Fletcher tonight while I was downtown at a meeting, and he's been working on it from his aspect, but we're going through City Hall, not through the police department. We're going through their City Hall, because that's who maintains their server system.
How long have we had the computer?
We've had the computers a little over a month. We got them in 2 sections. Some of those sections went to Nashville, had that software put on, that THP put on for us. So we did it in sections that way, and now IT is keeping those computers up, and with all the upgrades that come out on computers regularly, I know y'all see that, we're keeping those up and trying to get that done.
All right, one more question, and I got nothing else. Do you have any idea what the other 4 months of the year?
Well, I'll go ahead and let the news out. Bumpus has received, we're supposed to receive those yesterday. They're trying to put them together for us. Hopefully, I'll have 4 new motorcycles, maybe in the next week to 10 days, and trying to get all the equipment squared away. So we'll have our bikes in.
Okay, well, that'll be the ones that already have a light bars on them, or do we have?
We'll have to put our equipment on those.
Do we have our light bars with both others over there?
Not yet. We're getting some, as most of you know, we sold some of our equipment on our older bikes to Bradley County. We're taking that money and swapping it over and getting the new equipment. So our motorcycles not only will be fresh, but 2 of those 4 bikes will have fresh equipment on those.
That's reading that said something about the light bars for us.
Already working.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Last item, item N, resolution 2533.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the application for and acceptance of the fiscal year 2016 Tennessee Department of Transportation's 2015 multimodal access grant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Griffith,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Manning,
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it.
Item is approved. Thank you all for being here this evening.